Finish him. Kill the guy now. You have to come. Beat him. What's wrong with you?
What? What is this?
Good day, sir.
You are watching Jackie Pan in my house.
No, it's King Kong, sir.
Eh? King Kong. You've never heard of ACTV before in your life? ACTV is very educative, informative, and there are football sport there. There is entertainment. There are a lot of things you can even attend lectures here. All you know is watch all those nonsense artists and do nonsense, or you watch nonsense on TV. Eh? Last night you almost came in bed with your fist.
It's not me, sir.
Eh? And you wake up every morning, the bed will be so rough, like you've been fighting kung fu in your dream. Eh? That's the reason why you have F's in your courses, like especially made for you.
I have last semester.
We eat by pounds on you. Very stupid. Oh, yeah, change that section to ACTV right now. And oh God, you go to what you first born. Stupid boy.
Hi, and welcome to another impactful time that we teach you some things that you don't know in class. So I want to welcome every of you students to this class. Of course, this is Drama 101, DRA 101. And the course title again is Introduction to Theater and Drama. Or you can have it another way around, Introduction to Drama and Theater. All means the same thing. Previously, we were able to look at the word drama, and we said that it came from the root word from the Greek, which means dra, D-R-A-N. Okay, it means to do. In other words, it's something done. It's an action. All right? And so we said that drama is best realized when it's on stage. We are able to say again that drama, okay, is clearly separated itself from poetry and prose. And I would say, for instance, poetry speaks directly to emotions. It tends to eliminate many barriers as possible between the poem and the reader. Okay, we said again that prose consists of both novels and drama. Prose is basically written like human speech, and we are able to understand that drama depends heavily on spoken dialogue to keep its audience informed about characters' feelings, personalities, motivations, and plans. It is generally an imitation of action. So I want to believe you got that right previously in our class before the lockdown. And we said drama is written to be read, performed on stage before an audience. Yes, today we are looking at theater and its mode of performance. You would have, of course, during the interaction we had in class, we said that this class is all about drama and theater. And I'm sure many of you will have had one or two misconceptions about drama or theater. So we want to just, for today's class, pick out, theater alone, and we'll deal with it intensively. All right, so let's go from here. Now, theater refers to a place of seeing. What do you see? You see performances, you see entertainment, you see dramatic activities, you see so many enactments, okay? Now, we have this word theater, okay, evolving from the Greek word, theateron, which means seeing place where people go to see, okay? It means a place where something is seen, okay? As drama is what is done, okay? Theater therefore becomes seeing that action done or action is witnessed. Now, what are we saying here? We said that previously that drama is what? An action, isn't it? Seeing an action on stage, something done, something performed. All right? Now, theater is what? You know, seeing that thing performed. That which you have seen, which you know as drama, you are now seeing it being performed. In other words, you are witnessing that action. And that action here is drama. Okay? Don't forget, we said again that drama is best witnessed on stage. So I hope you're following this, this lecture step after step. Now, today we use the term theater, okay, in many ways to describe so many things. I will give you about 3 analogies. The very first one here is that theater is used to represent buildings where performances are performed, okay, where plays are put up, you know, the architectural, you know, design of a particular building, okay, the structure, you know, the space of dramatic or artistic performance, okay, you know, a place where something, that something can be musical, that something can be dramatic, that something can be, you know, any performative, you know, thing at all. A place where that thing is seen. We can, you know, consummate that to be theater, the building. Is that clear? Let's go to the next one now. The next one is, again, theater is said to refer to, you know, the body of players or artists, okay, who perform such in such a place, and to the body of plays that such a company produces. Okay, in a narrower sense, we can say theater is the combination of, or the ensemble, you know, of people, ideas, and the works of art that emanate from their collaboration. Yes. Now, what are we talking about? We are talking about the troops. You know, when we say troupe of actors, we are talking about theater companies. Okay, I'm just playing with those words now. First of all is the building itself, and secondly, again, we are talking about the group of people, the collaboration of different, you know, specialists, different professionals. We have the dancers, we have the choreographers, we have the technicians, we have the carpenters, we have the painters. There are so many. Okay, they come together to form a company or a troupe that we call theater troupe. That's the second instance. Okay, now the pictures you can find on your screen here, of course, will tell you, these performances that can be done on that particular space called theater. Now let's go again to the final, aspect of definition of theater. We can say that theater also can serve to be to be an occupation, okay, or professional activities, which is often the passion of thousands or millions, let me say, millions of youngsters who want to be, performing artists, okay, all over the world, And in other words, we can say that theater, can be seen as a vocation, okay, can be seen as a vocation. Don't forget, I've said one, it can be seen as the architectural design or the building itself. It can be seen as the building where, performances are witnessed. Two, it can be seen as a body of players that we can as well call troupe, and it can be seen again as a vocation. Now, having established this, we should begin to go into other aspects. Of course, the main thing for this class. Now, like I said, this class is purely to look at the aspects of theater. Now, we want to also mirror into the theater to see the modes of performances that we have in the theater. Of course, as we have theater, it's not just an umbrella thing, but we have modes of performances. Of course, people go there to watch performances, and those performances have been categorized into two. All right, so we want to look at those performances now. Now we have one, we have the presentational or direct mode of performance. Let that one sink properly. Presentational or direct mode of performance. And the second one here, we have the representational or indirect mode of performance. Is that clear now? One, we have the presentational mode, and two, we have the representational mode. So let's look at each of these one after the other. Now, when we talk about the presentational modes of performance, what we mean is a kind of performance where, performer or actor on stage, consciously acknowledges the presence of the audience, okay, by exchanging dialogue with them, singing to them, responding overtly to their applause, laughter, request, helping, and so on and so forth. Most often, okay, the most dramatic techniques and tradition of all ages are in consonance with this mode of performance. Now, what do we mean by presentational performance? Now, you all have, in one way or the other, seen this mode of performance, but you don't know the name given to it. Okay, many of us have, in one way or the other, witnessed. Let me give a very clear, honest example now. These stand-up comedies that we watch, probably at our places of worship, schools, social performances, and what have you, where you have the performer on stage and you have the audience at the other side of the auditorium or the theater. Now, the performer on stage is the owner of that stage for that moment. Okay, he has every right, to move around the four walls of the stage. Don't forget, we have treated, the stage geography, where we have, we have the downstage, we have the left, the right, the center of all the stages, and we have, of course, the downstage also. But this is not the time for to explain the geography of the stage. But we are looking at the performer on stage. Okay, he is the owner of that stage. He has the power or the liberty to go around the stage. Okay, now everything he is saying or doing on stage, the audience is aware. Now, don't forget that we said that drama is all about imitation, isn't it? To imitate life. Okay? Drama itself is not life, but it's imitation. So whatever the actor is doing on stage, okay, that's the presentational performer on stage. Now, whatever he or she is doing on stage, the audience is aware that somebody is there watching or performing before them. The audience knows this person by name. The audience applauds the performer on stage when he or she does something very funny, or maybe sometimes he can be so naughty to abuse them. They can woo back at him or something. There's this conscious consciousness between the performer and the audience. They know that somebody is there, and the performer also knows that there's a waiting audience, in the auditorium. So there's an exchange of interaction. For instance, the performer can say, "Hello, hi, audience," and the audience will respond, "Yeah, how are you?" This kind of thing. "Can you hear me?" And they can say, "Yes." That one is established. It's called presentational. From the word presentational, it means, giving the audience what it is, to present it, okay, to the consciousness of the audience and the performer. Now, many a times you go to theater to watch some plays or some performances, you come out and it's mostly done by these comedians, by these masters of ceremonies. You know them, they know you. They can even come come down from the stage, come down to the auditorium or to the audience side of the auditorium to begin to interact with one or two members of the audience. How are you? Oh, I saw you yesterday, and what have you? And the audience will laugh. Can even crack some jokes and what have you. Sometimes they insult them, and sometimes the performers also give the audience a knock on the head with their voices and with their performance, with their jokes. Sometimes they crack dangerous jokes. So I want to show you some examples of these presentational performance. What you have on stage here, you can see the performer and the audience member are conscious of what is happening, whether on stage or in the auditorium. You can see it now. This is just a well-known comedian. What was his name again? It's this guy that does comedy. He's a popular person there. Now you could see Kenny Black. Yes, that's his name, Kenny Black. You could see him on stage. He reacts to the audience, and the audience will also give him a feedback. Now this kind of performance, for instance, now there is a check and balance there. For instance, if the performer is acting and is not making sense, it will reflect in the audience mood. Many times here on campus, we hear students say, "Cohort," isn't it? That means you're not making us laugh. You are just there wasting our time. Why can't you go away? Okay. And if the character is doing well, you see them applauding to his jokes and what have you. There's a symbiotics, between the performer and the audience in the auditorium. I say here, the principle of annihilation or disbelief is absent from the performance. Now you know what's called a principle of annihilation. For instance, you are taking, unaware. You are taken by surprise. You are being transported. Okay, you are being taken from that present place to another, the ideal world, from the real world to the ideal world. That is where alienation comes from. An audience is taken from that present present venue or performance to an ideal world where the performance is taking place. But that is not the same here under this presentational performance. Yes, I said here that the performer on stage carries the audience along in all enactments. Okay, no entrance, no exits. Okay, of performer on stage. No, and everything just goes. The audience acknowledges the entrance and the exit of the performer. The second performance mode that we have is representational. Now here it is probably the most fundamental mode of drama. This is the mode that makes drama dramatic. Okay, it brings the magical aspect of drama out. Okay, so in the representational mode of performance, the audience watches interaction that are staged on stage, as if no audience, okay, were present at all. As a result, the audience itself is encouraged to concentrate on the event that are being staged on there, and not on the presentation. You can see now, the audience is encouraged to do what? Concentrate on the event, the storyline, okay, the action, the enactment, not the presentation itself. It's not focused now on the performer. It's not performer oriented now. It is more or less, more or less the event, okay, happening on stage. In other words, all members of the audience believe in the play, okay, and allow themselves to forget that the character or players, okay, on stage are really actors. Do you get it now? Now they forget what is happening on stage. They don't see the characters or performance on stage again. They are looking at how the storyline is evolving from one scene to another, from one act to another. They are not particular. Now, let me make it clear to you. They are not seeing the people on stage as their friends. They are not seeing the characters on stage as their classmates. They are not seeing the people on stage as their neighbors or the popular, comedian, popular, actors. They are not seeing them as, because the actors on stage now have become another person that is now, creating another life on stage. So the audience is more or less engrossed, okay, absorbed, okay, and the audience is transported, or what we call through psychic projection, into the ideal world that the actor is trying to paint. All right, so let's look at what really happens again in this representational mode of performance. The audience is suspended in disbelief through psychological mechanism of empathy. Now, I want to believe you know what empathy is all about. Now, the audience begin to feel for the actors on stage. Not actors now, pardon me, the characters on stage. Okay, they begin to feel, identify with, okay, the characters on stage. Because they have been involved from the beginning, of the story, how the story is, evolving from one scene to another. They now follow. They are seeing it as true life. Okay, it's not to them, it's no longer drama. To them, they no longer paid to watch. They have come to see life. Now, that is the magical aspect of drama or theater altogether. Now, at this point, the audience is likely, okay, to feel this kinship, to identify, themselves with the characters on stage. Now, this is where what we call verisimilitude, come in. Nearness to truth, nearness to truth. The idea about realism, comes to play here, where you see, audience, engrossed in the dramatic, process, and all their sense, is really focused on what is happening. At a point in time, they get absorbed, they get aroused, they get attached to the story, and many a times many of the audience members get into it and they burst into tears, or some of them may just be there raptured in disbelief of what is happening. Now, particularly, you now wonder if you see a particular actor who has been so nice, or who has gone through series of events. He has gone through series of occasions, during the season of the play, and they follow it. For instance, somebody who a woman, or a man and a woman, gives birth to a child. Eventually the father dies during the process of taking care of the family, and eventually the mother takes over. Manages to the child now becomes old enough at about, say, 16, 17, when he or she tries to begin to fend for the family, and that is the time the mother should enjoy. The child now dies. The mother now dies, leaving alone the child, and the story continues that way. And when he or she is about to get to that peak, to be crowned, you see something happening, something very bad happening to that character and you feel, oh, it could be me. You feel, you empathize. Here, the audience will both empathize and sympathize with characters on stage. Is that clear? Now, this is where that principle of alienation really, has it. From what you can see here, you can see reactions. These are live performances on stage. You see, these people, they are taken aback. Wow, is this thing really happening? Is it true? Does it mean this character is dead? Does it mean, oh my God, this king, this queen, this driver is, after all he or she has gone through, and eventually, this person is no more. Now, this is very interesting when we look at it. Now, let's just see what we are talking about here. So, summarily, what this means is that the audience gets into, pathos, and they express their feelings through catharsis. Now, I believe you should understand this. I've taught you this. Aristotle's definition of a tragedy. You will see this word there, catharsis. Now, it's like a purging of emotion. When something has gotten to the peak, okay, it's that you must purge your emotion. If not, you burst. Like when a fresh wine is bottled up, in the skin, is very active. If you don't expose or uncap it, then that wine skin might burst. So this is how it is in human beings also. If you don't express yourself, your emotion, if you don't pour out your emotion, then you may burst. So in drama or in performances, you have catharsis coming to bear. People may get so enwrapped, and they will now begin to shed tears. It's mostly common with most of you girls or ladies. You see them, they watch a film, maybe they are really in love with the character. The character is almost making it, and something bad happens. You see them on their own just weeping. Nobody beats them, but they're just weeping on their own. They are sympathizing with the character. They are empathizing and sympathizing at the same time with the character. And sometimes you may want to unleash this thing in another way. You may not want to cry. You may just be dumbfounded. You are just there. If somebody touches you or taps you, you will not recover, until some seconds, because you are just taking, on a ride. So in conclusion, I started by saying that, we have discussed drama, and today we are looking at theater in its brief. So let's just see. The word drama and theater are often used interchangeably, yet they can also have distinct meanings. So you must know that, because of exam, you might have this question coming out. But although both are, very general terms, let me give it, in a simpler form now. Theater denotes the element of the whole theatrical production. The architecture, the scenery, the acting, and what have you. While drama, in its limited term, refers to what is seen. All right. Now, to use a modern metaphor to make you understand very well, we can say that theater is the software. Don't worry, I will explain to us. Theater is the hardware of play production, whereby drama is the software. Theater, hardware, and drama, software. What do I mean by this? And we say hardware and software. Now, hardware, what you can touch, you can feel it, you can see it, you can experience it. But software, you can't see it, but you can feel it. Now let me use our computer system as an instance. You have your laptop, you have your mouse. Those are hardware, and the program inside is what we call software. So drama, which is the software, is what you go to see in the hardware theater. Okay. Now, let me just round up this class this way. Now, I know that you might have, been taken on a very, smooth ride to this point. But let me just make us understand what again we have said so far. We have looked at drama previously before now. We are looking at theater, and we have pinpointed one or two things that we know to be operational in the theater. We have looked at two modes of performances in the theater. We looked at the presentational, and we looked at the representational mode of performance. So, and we also gave examples of this. Okay, the presentational is the one that the audience and the performer on stage, they are conscious of what is happening. There is a communication between both. Okay, the performer, that is the actor on stage, and the audience, watching in the auditorium. And we have what's called representational, where we have the actors are on stage, and the audience, of course, seated in the auditorium. They are watching. Now, at this point in time, they are not conscious, in quote now, conscious of the actors on stage, because the actors on stage have taken them on that long distance off, world of make-believe, the magical aspect of the theater. So finally today, I want to give us an assignment, and this is for us. Now, the assignment is, what are the elements of theater? Now, from what I've said so far, you could pick out the elements of theater. So you may have to read up before the next class as we get into the real business of next class, the elements of the theater. But there might be a need for you to just read up, because there will be, it may be an interactive session where you have to, react to what I said. Now, to wrap it up for today, this has been a wonderful time taking DRA 101, Introduction to Drama and Theater. And I hope you have really enjoyed the lecture for today. I want to believe I will see you next time to continue this class. Well, as you stay safe, bye-bye.
Finish him. Kill the guy now. You have become beat him.
What?
What is this? Good day, sir.
You are watching Jackie Pan in my house.
No, it's King Kong, sir.
King Kong. You've never heard of ACTV before in your life? ACTV is very educative, informative, and there are football sport there. There is entertainment. There are a lot of things you can even attend lectures here. All you know is watch all those nonsense artists and do nonsense, or you watch nonsense on TV. Last night you almost came in bed with your fist.
It's not me, sir.
And you wake up every morning, the bed will be so rough, like you've been fighting kung fu in your dream. That's the reason why you have F's in your courses, like especially made for you.
I have you last semester.
We I pounce on you. Very stupid though. Yeah, change that section to ACTV right now. And oh God, the baby, what you have been first born. Stupid boy.